Question number 7, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Defence and asks, how does he reconcile not providing any further detail on the deployment of troops in accordance with the NZDF policy of, quote, non-identification of personnel and for reasons of operational security, end of quote, with the Prime Minister confirming overnight that New Zealand troops were transiting through Dubai?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
On behalf of the Minister of Defence, it has already been publicly stated we expect all of the New Zealand contingent involved in the building partner capacity mission to Iraq to be deployed in Taji and Baghdad by mid-May. It shouldn't come as a surprise that personnel have been going to the region in advance of deploying into Iraq. The Prime Minister and the Minister of Defence made it very clear on April 15 that the deployment would be staged, with groups entering Iraq at different times. I also want to reiterate for the member that we have been very clear that for reasons of operational security and in order to keep our soldiers as safe as possible, we won't be going into detail on specific travel arrangements. While it should be no surprise that some of our troops are in the UAE, just as some have been in Australia, we won't be announcing when they'll be moving into Iraq.
Point of order. Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, Ron Mark.
Yeah, Mr Speaker, I made my question very specific and he's had time to prepare, asking how does he reconcile the Prime Minister's statement with precisely that information?
The question's definitely been answered. The member should listen to the answer.
Okay.
Supplementary question. Ron Mark, supplementary.
To the Minister, has the Prime Minister breached NZDF operational security by first talking to Gulf News and then telling New Zealand media, quote, I just don't see it as newsworthy. You guys might, but I don't. I mean, they have to fly through somewhere. That's the base they use going into Baghdad, so pfft.
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Mr Speaker, that was pretty good. On behalf of the Minister of Defence, no.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
To the Minister, can he explain the Prime Minister's unauthorised release of official information when the Chief of Defence Force told Q&A, quote, I think most would understand the sensitivities around getting forces into a country like Iraq, and is that a matter for the public? Question, I don't think so, end of quote.
Honourable Simon Bridges.
On behalf of the Minister of Defence, as I say, the statement that troops are in Dubai shouldn't come as a surprise. We've always been clear that this was a deployment that was staged, but we don't go into details on specific travel arrangements, certainly into the theatre of operation Iraq.
Point of order.
Point of order, Ron Mark.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table a document that suggests that the Prime Minister might be breached of the Crimes Act 1961.
Order. I just want details of the document.
Well, Mr Speaker, can I refer to you to stand Speaker's order, Speaker's ruling?
Yep.
Speaker's ruling, page 147.3, quote from Deputy Speaker Revell, Speaker Hunt back in 1998 and 2003 say that in seeking leave to table a document, members should not only succinctly describe what is in the document, but also sufficiently describe the nature of the document to inform members so that they can make a decision.
Order. Order. Member will resume his seat. If he'd adhere to that and succinctly describe the document, I'm happy to listen to it. But when it's a long read of the document, I will not be putting up with that. So a succinct description would be very much appreciated.
Thank you. It's a document that suggests the Prime Minister might be in breach of Crimes Act 1961 and Summary Offences Act.
I'm not putting up with much more of this from Mr Mark. He succinctly describes the document, not whether the Prime Minister's breached anything, or we won't be putting the leave. Simple as that.
Well, Mr Speaker...
Order. We're moving to the next question.
Can I take you back to Speaker's ruling?
No. The member can resume his seat. I will give the member one more chance to succinctly describe the document as to the source of the document, the date of it, and then I'll determine whether to put the leave.
Mr Speaker, the document's title is the Cabinet Manual. Mr Speaker, the succinct description of it...
Member will resume his seat. the Cabinet manual is available to everybody. Question number 8, Dr Parmjeet Palmer.
Thank you, Mr.